Okay, guys, Sip Messenger back again for Bullshido.net. So I posted this into the Maps, Tools, and Techniques thread last evening. It's something that came across my Facebook feed, and I saw it, and I right away said, pretty sure this is a fake. And I wanted to take this fake image and walk you through why I thought. Again, I started just with visual analysis. Forget about the election jitters and all that kind of stuff where, it's plausible that something like this could have happened. You see, the problem here is that you can vote for the Democrat or the Green or the Libertarian, but there's no spot on this ticket for Republican. So, that is, the nature of the post. Hey, they're trying to rig the election. Trump is saying, oh, they're rigging the election. Well, here we go. Someone is trying to rig the election, but not in the way you think. This ticket in front of us, overall, it appears to be a real ticket. But the first thing that I noticed when I zoomed in on the photo, if you suspect a photo, go zoom in on the photo. Okay. Now, depending on the quality of your monitor, and if you have background lighting where you're viewing this image, and if on your phone you may never have seen this, especially in the daytime. And if you're using an older, lower quality monitor, you may not see it. But what immediately tipped me off to this was there is this sort of, I'm going to call it chromatic aberration, but it's not. But you can see maybe, and I'll show you in a minute a little bit more in detail, there's this sort of greenish circle. It's got a slight green tinge to it, where this paper down here in this area and all around outside of that circle is tan, but there's this big green circle, and then towards the center it almost goes to a light gray and a white in here. So that immediately was one of the things that told me that this is a fake. Now I'm going to take this image and let's copy it and go over into our GIMP, paste it in here, and I'm going to go straight to hue saturation. I'll show you this green circle that I'm talking about here. So I don't know if that helps you see it a little bit better, but this whole area here, that kind of tipped me off that something quite isn't right with this image. So that was number one. Number two, I'm going to do something that I like to call coplanar comparison. And we see this with various doctored photos, in popular media. There was a couple of years ago, I think it was North Korea had photoshopped one of their missile tests. Instead of one missile, there were like 5 missiles or something like that. But they went in and were able to show how each one was exactly the same missile. They had just duplicated it using a duplication brush inside of Photoshop. So one way to look for that, let me cancel out of this. What I'm going to do here, I want to come in and zoom right into here. Now, I don't know on the real version of this ticket if it goes Republican, Democrat, or Democrat, Republican. I don't know what the order is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my lasso tool here. Okay, this basically lets me just kind of draw a selection circle around the thing that I want to grab. Okay, now I'm going to copy that and paste it as a new layer, which exists here. Now I can move that layer. Whoops. Like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the transparency or the opacity of this layer and back it off. Okay, so now you can see through it. And if you put it up there, it lines up pretty darn good. Okay, the problem with that is if you look at the overall photo, you can see it's coming off of a folded ballot. You can see there's a fold up here and there's a fold down here, and you can make out there's a curvature to the paper because of those two folds. So somebody's holding it open, but the paper is actually curving. Also, this is not shot like you would do like on a scanner or a copy machine. It's a photograph. So the text is, what do you call it, not all rectified to the same focal plane of the camera. You know, so like this T should be bigger than another capital T down here, for example. So let us try that. And not just bigger, but it's going to have an angle to it. So let's grab this T. Oh, we're on the wrong layer. We'll copy that, paste it as a new layer, and let's move it now down to State Treasurer. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Pop the opacity down, and you can kind of see that it doesn't fit as nicely over this T. Let's see, what else did I say here? You know, it's much easier if you could find exact words that you can move around like that. Oh, one of the things I want to do, I'll probably make a different video, but I'm going to basically recreate this effect, hopefully, to show how it was faked. My notes here. Okay, so those were those two immediate visual things, and of course I went to the ELA, so we'll go to photo forensics and paste it. And the ELA didn't really show anything, which I found interesting. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. They did a very good job here. But remember that oval, that kind of circle that I said, you can see that circle in the ELA, right? So here's where that kind of whitest spot is. Here's the Democrat ticket, and here's the other Democrat ticket. So I can see that circle in here in the image. But nothing is popping out on the high contrast scale. So whoever did this knew what they were doing, and so that's why I kind of wanted to recreate this. Like I said, ELA is not a a proof positive that something has or hasn't been done. It just gives you uh, an easy way to nab the obvious ones. And then, of course, I did follow up with Backfist Monkey's Snopes post. And, of course, we know that it is actually fake. Um, because the person who posted it said, "Hey, I'm joking." And that about wraps it. So I'll close this video, get this online, so you guys see my response and the things that I was looking at. Um, and then I will move on with trying to recreate this.